therapy. Yeah.
So how does that work?
So instead of
Bye bye. That's it. חשבתי שהוא ייפול עלייך.
לא על זה ייפול, נגעתי בבעלים.
Right, everybody can hear me? Or just text me on the WhatsApp if you can hear me.
נו, אז אני לא מבינה למה... תלכי. כן. אז בואי תהי פה. אני כאילו יושב פה פשוט, ממול. אני מצחה אותי נבוא.
Lee, can you hear me? Can you hear us talking, Lee? Testing, testing. How about now? Can you hear me now, Lee? Can you hear me now? Perfect.
You were like, what's this?
They don't see it, but everybody else really hard year after year after year after year. Well, we came in.
I have the name.
Oh, I have.
I'm gonna give a really they're going to do whatever. I have her name here. Fiona or so that is, and these are speakers.
We don't know.
And the one I'm going to double check if they want to do it. It's interesting to see people have like
If it gets to be a lot.
It's not gonna be a. What's this one? Who else?
You remember me now, I know you know I was Shirley's mom. And then I was rolling.
Yes, I have the three.
You want me to take it with you?
I'm going to do it, not in the middle of the.
I'm looking for the right sweater.
Right.
For those who have lived fully, death is not to be looked upon with fear, but rather accepted as best as we can with equanimity, coming as the natural close of a long and a good life, just as the sunset is the natural close of the day. When the sun sets, the sky is filled with a spectacular brilliance of multicolored light. These indescribably beautiful colors are the day's afterglow. And in a profound sense, those who have departed this world leave behind them an afterglow which can warm the hearts and brighten the lives of those who knew and loved them. The sun of Shirley Rosenberg has set, but she has left behind an afterglow of memories that will continue to warm the hearts of her family and friends. Her light and warmth have not vanished, for her spirit and influence live on in an afterglow in their lives. In a moment, the family will share Shirley's beautiful qualities that continue to illuminate their lives even in this moment of loss. But first, we will begin with Proverbs of Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor, thus linking Shirley's life with the 3,000-year-old tradition of the people Israel and the eternity of God. Eshet Chayil v'yimsa v'rachob mipnini michra Patach alev alav shalom lo yechsar Gematlat uto belora kol yemei chayecha sheker hachein v'hevel hayopi Isha Yarat Adonai, Ititala, Tenula, Mipriya Decha, Vihaleluha, Visharim Masecha. What a precious find is an Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor. Her worth is far beyond rubies. Her family puts their confidence in her and lacks no good. She is good to them, never bad, all the days of her life. Charm can be deceitful and beauty fades. But a God-revering woman, a woman of integrity, is much to be praised. Extol her for the fruit of her hand. Wherever people gather, her deeds speak her praise. And indeed, now we will speak her praise as I ask Jeff Blivus to come forward to share words.
Good morning. Thank you to all of you for coming out to honor my grandmother. Thank you also to my mother and aunts for giving me the opportunity to stand up here and speak to you today about their mother and my grandmother. They asked for my remarks to be brief. They hopefully will not regret letting a lawyer speak first. As my grandparents' oldest grandchild, I felt it was my obligation to be a role model for my younger cousins, to teach them how to do good deeds and to be polite and respectful in public, and to be composed and strong in the face of adversity. As much as I knew that Grandma's passing was inevitable and that it was likely going to be sooner rather than later, it still caught me off guard, so I'm sorry ahead of time if I don't make it through this. Since my grandfather's passing 8 years ago, and the last time that I was actually here, it has been tough for Grandma. And that is understandable since she unexpectedly lost her companion of 65 years. One could say that with Grandma's deteriorating health over the last few years, that there would not be any lasting memories, but I think that is far from the truth. So I'd like to briefly share a few of my lasting memories about Grandma from the past to the present. Grandma called me Jefferson. My name is Jeffrey. I never asked why, and I guess I'll never know why, but she's the only one who did that, and it made me feel special. Grandma loved to sing. Although she sang every song like she was at the head of the choir, even when she was in the back of a synagogue, she exuded an air of enthusiasm and happiness that was contagious. If I close my eyes, I can see her sitting next to Grandpa singing at Seder. Kleenex. I don't know if she trademarked or patented the unique manner she stored them on her person, but she should have if she didn't, and I might go do that myself right after I leave here. Most importantly, Grandma loved her family. If it wasn't for Grandma and Grandpa's love of family, I wouldn't have had experienced Hawaii as a 10-year-old. And I may not have convinced my own parents to plan similar vacations for our immediate family to enjoy memorable experiences together. As I looked through pictures around my house the last few days, I realized that Grandma was Forrest Gump. There was one of her at my bar mitzvah, and then my high school graduation, and my college graduation, and my law school graduation, and my wedding. More amazing, on the same bulletin board, I had the picture of Grandma and Grandpa with me at my high school graduation. I also had a picture of them at the baby naming for my daughter, Helena. Grandma was there no matter what the occasion or purpose because it was family, and family was most important. Sadly, my last memory of Grandma was my visit to her a few days ago. It was a visit I didn't want to make. It was a visit I was scared to make, but it was a visit I know I would have regretted not making. And out of this moment that I feared taking place, the most beautiful thing happened. My last memory of Grandma will be seeing her surrounded by her daughters as they comforted her in her last hours, with her grandkids' blanket hanging within her view. And with the sadness of Grandma's passing, my only solace is knowing that she's reunited with my Aunt Sandy, who left us too early, and my grandfather, her eternal love. Thank you.
I now ask Leah Sofer to please come forward.
I always felt lucky to have the quintessential grandmother. My grandma Shirley was warm, caring, generous, and full of love for her family, friends, and community. And like every good grandmother, she always had a hard candy or a tissue if you needed one. She had a subtle but quick wit, and I loved when I could catch one of her sly jokes or play on words. She was quite talented and loved to sing, sewed amazing outfits, and cooked delicious meals. I fondly remember her helping me cook my very first recipe for my very first cookbook, and how excited I was when it came out really well. When I think of our Rosenberg clan, my grandpa Harold was always the backbone of our family, but my grandma was always the heart. She couldn't always keep our names straight, but she knew everything going on in our lives, was present for every important milestone, and never forgot a birthday. I loved telling her about what was going on in my life, whether it was school, friends, or a new job. but I really appreciated being able to speak with her when I had challenges or struggles, and I always knew I could count on her support. My grandmother's warmth and kindness impacted everyone who knew her. When she moved from Dayton to New Jersey, it was quite touching to see so many of her friends stayed in contact and would frequently call to check in or write letters. She also quickly made many new friends at Monroe Village. When I would visit and walk down the halls with her, I felt like I was with a celebrity because everyone knew her and would stop to say hello. During a visit this past year, I was speaking with our aide Vivian about traveling. This was at a time when we didn't always know how much my grandmother understood of what we were saying, but she would always give us some reminder she was still with us. When I told Vivian that my grandmother used to travel a lot with my grandfather, I was quite pleasantly surprised when my grandma replied, "Oh, not in a long time." Well, wherever it is that we go when we pass on, I can just hope that my grandmother is reunited with my grandfather. They're enjoying traveling together again, going on cruises, ushering, and all the other fun activities they shared together. I even hope they're enjoying a little bickering about how much pepper my grandfather put on his food. I always enjoyed that. Grandma, I'm incredibly grateful we had so many wonderful years with you. I love you, I missed you, but I know you're still with us in our hearts.
Now I ask Abram to please come forward.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. I haven't been back here to Dayton since about 8 years ago when we were all convened in the same place to say farewell to my grandfather. This time is certainly no easier, but having everyone here today underscores why this place and my grandmother meant so much to every one of us here. From today back to as early as I can remember, Dayton meant and still means the roots of our family, with grandma and grandpa at the top. Driving here yesterday with my cousin Aaron from the East Coast, this time from the East, both of us agreed that despite those 10 years or so when they were at Savina Road, it was seeing grandma and grandpa at the house on Early Road that was a source of so many of our memories as kids. I remember driving up and seeing my grandmother at the door smiling and welcoming us in, where we'd usually always sit and catch up in the kitchen shortly thereafter. Papa, as my sister and I called him, mentioning or showing us the new golf balls that he had acquired in the backyard from the nearby golf course. And grandma always giving us a big hug, kiss, asking how our dogs were, telling us how proud she was of all of our achievements and us growing up. My grandmother, for her biggest source of pride was her family. And I just remember seeing that on display at all of our many family occasions and gatherings, and the effort that she and Papa always made to being part of our lives, be that driving to pace off Indianapolis each year, long past when they should have stopped driving, coming to visit my family in Minneapolis, or even allowing us to chaperone them to Israel years ago through Germany. It's what Grandma and Papa lived for, and nothing made her happier than sitting on the couch, being in the middle of the table, or even at a slot machine on a cruise line, smiling as her kids, grandkids, and eventually her great-grandkids surrounded her. These last 10 years, while Grandma has been in New Jersey, have been different, but no different in that her source of family was her greatest joy. I'm so fortunate that she was able to meet my wife, Anna, who loved her equally. And though she couldn't be at our wedding, she was perhaps no happier than I remember to hear from us and see the pictures, and then eventually give Anna and me a hug. And of course, Lola, eventually our dog, when we visited not long after. And though my wife Anna and my child is coming in November, will not have a chance to meet her, I know that she and Papa will be with us during that occasion, as she was for each and every other family milestone. I love you.
We will now recite the 23rd Psalm.
Those of you who have not read, please read with us. The Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He causes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Even if I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You set a table before me in the presence of my adversaries. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. May only goodness and kindness pursue me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord for the length of days. Come here, let the gates come out. No, 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 come here, let the gates come out. No, 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 no. Come here, let the praise come up. Lord, oh Lord, here I come. Come here, let the praise come up. Lord, oh Lord, here I come. Lord, no, 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 no. Here I come, here I come. No, 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 no. Here I come, here I come. Come here, let the gates come up. Lord, oh Lord, here I come. Come here, let the gates come up. Lord, oh Lord, here I come. No, 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 no. Here I come, here I come, in my need. No, 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 no. Here I come, here I come, in my need. Come here, let the gates come up. No, 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 here I come. Come here, let the gates come up. No, 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 here I come. No, 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 no. Here I come, here I come, in my need. No, 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 no. Here I come, here I come, in my need.
As we are taught by the wise King Solomon, to everything there is a season, a time to be born and a time to die, As his family beautifully testified today, although the son of Shirley Rosenberg, Sarah Yocheved Bat Yona Rachel, has set, she has left behind an afterglow of memories that will continue to shine within all who had the privilege of knowing her. God is with us whenever and wherever needed. May God comfort us and all who are in mourning. Zichrona livracha. May Shirley's memory be a blessing to all of us. And let us say, Amen. And now I ask that we rise as Cantor recites El Malei Rachamim, the memorial prayer.
El Malei Rachamim, Shochein Abareruni, Hametzim Ruchon Gono, Tachakavu Hashechino, Bemalut Kedoshim Utehorim, Zoharakim Azirim, Et Nishamot Sarah Yocheved Bat Yona Rachel, Shechalecha le'olamo, Gan Eden tehi menuchato, Ana ba'al rachamim, Haskirecha b'seter kenapecha le'olamim. Utzeror b'tzeror ha'chayim et nishmatam. Adonai u'nachalatam. V'tanuach b'shalom al mishkaba. Amen.
Exalted, compassionate God, may you give peace, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure, to the soul of Shirley Rosenberg, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace. Let us say, Amen. And before we proceed to the graveside service, I want to provide an opportunity if anyone would like to share a brief thought or memory at this time. And I ask that we listen to Larry Glickler as he provides directions to the pallbearers as we proceed to the graveside service and then to a Shiva meal back at Beth Abraham Synagogue Social Hall.
Just the pallbearers, please follow us behind the cafeteria to the door.
Judy. Judy. Po.
Who is that?
Lee.
Turn around, Mom. You need to look at the camera.
Mommy.
She left.
Tov, so send everyone hello for me, please, and it was lovely. And love you all.